water will keep plugging away, right? Just keep plugging, just keep swimming, like Finding Nemo, right? Or Dory. Hello, my name is Michelle and this is Michelle's Fiber Studio Podcast. Today is April 9th and it is episode 45. Hello, it has been a week and a half or so. It is a gorgeous sunny day. It's 40 degrees right now. We're starting to finally get some of that nicer weather, although it was really cold and windy this morning and last night we had a couple of inches of really heavy wet snow. So winter's not quite done with us here in Maine. I have several things to talk about, although I don't know that it's going to be a long podcast. I had all of my finished objects last week, but I do have a new project to talk about. I have a couple of updates. I have a new yarn acquisition, but first let's talk about Marta and what Marta's wearing, and I guess you can only see part of it, can't you? So this is a shawl here that is the Free Your Fade shawl by Andrea Mowry. I knit this back in 2019. I started it at the end of February and finished it in the middle of July. It is one that I saw at the spa event in Freeport, and I distinctly remember seeing it. It was a sample in these yarns, in these colors within the booth, and I said, I want that. I want to knit that. And so I bought the yarns and got the pattern and cast it on. February 24th is my cast on date, so I'm betting I cast it on that probably the very next day. But the yarn is by Into the Whirled, Whirled spelled W-H-I-R-L-E-D. It is their Pacuco sock, and I added it to Ravelry, but they're not in the database, so I don't have off the top what the blend is. Actually, if I click into the yarn, maybe I can find out in what's left over my stash. I might have made a note. Yeah, it's a 75-25 superwash merino nylon. So the three colors that I got are Handbags at Dawn, that is this blue-green. Jump the Shark is this kind of a yellowy green right here. And Where the Sun Don't Shine is the bright yellow. So love it. It was just super fun to knit these colors at that time of the year when it was cold and dreary. And I like to wear it in the winter because it is kind of this little pop of sunshine and color when everything is all white. So that is what Marta is wearing today. And so how about we take a look in my project bag. Shall we start with my new cast on? Yeah, let's do that. So last week I had finished both of my sweaters that I had on the needle. So of course I had to start a new sweater, right? And I showed you the sweater that I was modeling it on. It is the Knit It Down sweater by Trapp. And this was a sweater that was first published in a creative knitting magazine back in, I don't even know, 2008. It's like a really old issue. And so I did cast it on. It starts with a really big wide collar. So that's what I got done this week. Not a ton. I think I'm almost halfway through this collar. It's supposed to be about 6 inches. I am using Wonderland yarn. It is the Mary Ann base, which is an 85 superwash merino wool, 15% nylon. And the colorway is After the Storm. This was a fundraising color that was produced last fall after the storms along the East Coast to help some of those small fiber art vendors who had been flooded. And so I got 3 skeins of this, and I actually pretty quickly knew that I wanted to re-knit that sweater. So I swatched. I have my little swatch right here. It is indeed a little swatch, but it was enough to give me the information that I think I need. And I discovered that based on my gauge, So let me back up. This is a sweater. Matter of fact, I got the sweater right here. Let me grab it. All right, so this is the original sweater. And you can see the big wide collar here, which is what I'm knitting right now. So it's just a top-down sweater with a big V in it. But this, if you can't tell, is a worsted weight yarn that I knit this in. And I am trying to knit it in a fingering weight yarn. So what I did is I did some math. So I took my gauge on my swatch and I figured out what my stitches per inch is in this swatch. And then I took the size that I wanted my sweater to be, and let me think this through. If I knew that I wanted a 38-inch sweater and my gauge was 22 stitches over 4 inches, I divided the 38 by 22 and multiplied by 4. Pretty sure that's correct. And that gave me the total number of stitches that I would want to have in around my bust area, in the widest part. So I looked at the pattern and I figured out which size most closely matched that stitch count. And I figured out if I knit the biggest size, which I think is supposed to in a worsted weight knit like a 60-inch sweater, I'm actually gonna come out with something that's about, I think it was like 37 3/4, so pretty close to 38 inches. So that is what I am doing. I am following the numbers for the largest size, but I'm knitting it at a smaller gauge. And so therefore those numbers are gonna yield me the sweater that I want. Hopefully that makes sense. But I do that a lot even if I'm knitting a project, because I'm a fairly loose knitter and I usually have to go down a couple of needle sizes. So even if I'm knitting a sweater or a project with this, typically sweaters, because that's what I would generally be concerned about the gauge with. If I am knitting a sweater with the suggested weight yarn, my gauge is usually not the same. It's usually smaller because it would be bigger because I'm a looser knitter. Yeah. Anyway, I will knit myself a swatch. And when I am satisfied with the fabric that the swatch yields, that size needle yields, then I figure out my gauge and I figure out based on my gauge and my needle size that I am knitting, what stitch count I want to yield the size sweater that I want to have at the end, and then I figure out what size sweater in the pattern to knit. If that doesn't make sense, feel free to send me an email, michellesfiberstudio@gmail.com, and I will try to explain that a little better. But at any rate, I cast this on last Tuesday was my birthday, and so that was what I did, is I cast this on. I picked it up once or twice and did a few more rows, but it is underway. I'm not uber focusing on it. I have a few other things that I want to really try to get done this month, but I was eager to get it started, and I am getting ready to go out of town actually in a week or so, and I'm sure this is one that's going to come with me at the very least for plain knitting. Probably not while we are away, because my husband and I are chaperoning a trip to Washington, D.C. with about 30 of my middle school students. So I'm sure once I arrive in Washington, I'm going to have very little downtime for actual knitting. But in the plain, this is probably what I'm going to bring. So that is my knit it down. All right, get this tucked away, and then I will show you my next project that I have been working on is my secret ingredient make-along sweater or shawl. This is by Katy DeGroff Knits. And I haven't done a ton, but I have, ooh, I'm starting to lose stitches. Uh-oh. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it right this second, because that will take me too long to try to pick up. But I am working on this section here. I got all of this done. It needs to look like this. So you can see that is where I am done. I still have all of this to do. I am still only in clue 2. I am not moving very fast. I I like this project. I love how it is coming out. I don't know what my resistance is to working on it. What I'm trying to do, although this is a decision I made over the weekend and then I've been kind of busy in the afternoons ever since, is what I would like to do is spend 30 minutes knitting on this every day. And hopefully, even if I don't get a ton done, it'll be something done, right? So that is my goal, is to knit 30 minutes every day. This is where I was at, my little stitch marker right here. And so I did get all of that done this past week, but it's really not that much. And this is one of the smaller clues, so I'm in trouble when I have to go back and knit the next clue. But at any rate, I am using stash yarn. I've kind of talked about this a fair amount, but this is the red that I have on the needles right now. It is one of my Hypnotic yarns in Love Language. And then I have a couple of my other yarns that I use. This is Jimmy Sock by Hope Knit. And I'm also using her mohair. And then I also have another one of my Hypnotic yarns, the purple, which is the one that I'm holding with the mohair. So that is my shawl, which is not a lot to report, but it was kind of a crazy busy week last week. I will say that. All right, and the last project is another one that I'm also trying to set a goal on because I am behind. This is my Northeasterly Blanket by Katy Stevens, and I'm knitting it with my mystery yarn from Wool & Woman Fibers. I did not do a good job of marking this last week. I do not recall where I stopped. I can't remember if I was halfway through this green or this green, but then I did do the blue and this green here. So I think I'm up to number 7. Is that what this color is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means I have 5 more colors, and these are my March colors. So today's the 9th. I'm almost halfway through the month and I haven't even started my April colors. So my goal, in addition to 30 minutes on my shawl, is to knit 1 color in my blanket every day so that by the end of the month I can get caught up. Which unfortunately probably means that I am not going to get very far on my sweater until I do that. I haven't decided exactly what I am bringing with me when I go to Washington in a couple of weeks, or a week and a half, I guess. I'm definitely gonna bring my hat, my husband's hat. That'll be a good project, small project to throw in my backpack and just have with me as we're walking around, or and maybe I can even get that done. I don't know, maybe it's a pipe dream. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of where things are at. Not a ton of fibering happiness going on. It's just been really, really busy and kind of a tiring. But we'll keep plugging away, right? Just keep plugging, just keep swimming, like Finding Nemo, right? Or Dory. At any rate, that is where these projects are at for right now. On my yarn shelf, I got my April Yarnables yarn. It arrived Friday, I believe, although I didn't open it until Sunday. I had a big event, which I will talk about in a minute, and I just did not have the energy. But let's take a look at what I got. It is so super cute, super fun. The theme for this one, and I'm looking because the cards are now digital, is Guava Cream Macaron. And I have to laugh when I hear the word guava because my Molly, I should pop a picture of Molly in here, my dog Molly, who is 10 years old today, actually, we adopted from the local shelter, and the name that they had given her was Guava, and we renamed her to Molly, but I hear guava and that's kind of what I think of. She's definitely not a guava. She's definitely a Molly. But at any rate, I digress. So the guava cream macaron. So speaking of Molly, are you gonna come say hello, Molly? Huh? Come here. Come here. Do you want to say hello? Are you gonna say hello to the camera? All right. Well, now she's gonna pull herself up. All right, so anyway, I have these fun little macarons that are erasers. And it says puzzle erasers. I actually haven't even opened the package, so I am not sure. Let's open it and take a look. I'm not sure what's puzzle about an eraser, but we'll pop one out. And they're scented too. So do they come apart? Oh yeah, look at that. Super cute. So they're different, it literally is a puzzle. It comes apart into little pieces. Oh my goodness, those are so cute. I'll have to bring these to school. Maybe I can use them as little incentives or something, but oh my goodness, super, super cute. And then in my package here, I have a set of pastel highlighters. These are definitely coming to school with me. And then these little containers, and I had to open it up because I wanted to see what they were like. And they just unscrew, and there's just this little teeny container. How cute is that? So I got a set of 3 of them. So, guava, what colors do you think that would be, huh? It's really pretty. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but for right now, I'm just gonna pet it because it's so pretty. Ah, guava cream macaron. It is definitely guava cream. Oh, so yummy. You could almost eat it. It would make a really pretty like shawl or cowl or something small to have around the neck. Although I don't wear this color very often, but it would also make a great pair of socks. I don't know. We will see. It will tell me what it wants to be when the time is right. But that is my April Yarnables yarn. So I had a really busy week this week, or this past week or so. I recorded on Monday of last week. Tuesday was my birthday. I, of course, worked. But then I came home and I let my husband take good care of me. I decided that I wanted gourmet pizza. And so we have a pizza place here in town that does like the fancy pizzas. And so I had him get me, it was a pizza with squash and cranberry and ricotta on it. And that was delightful. I had about half of it, and then I think I had the other half on Friday. So that was really great. Wednesday, we had Bible study. Thursday, I don't remember what was Thursday. Thursday, I went with a friend, and I was all set to relax, and then my friend shows up at 6:15, and I'm like, oh, that's right. We agreed to go see a play that was being put on by a mutual friend's daughter, a middle school play, and it wasn't exactly The Wizard of Oz. I can't remember what the name of it was. It was essentially The Wizard of Oz. It was cute. It was about an hour or so. They started late. They had a really large showing that we didn't anticipate. So instead of having Thursday to kind of just sit and chill, I had to quit. I was just getting ready. I had worked out and I was just getting ready to go upstairs. Literally, I was on my steps actually. To head upstairs to my bedroom to change into like PJs or relaxing clothes, and I saw my friend coming up my outside stairs. I'm like, oh, give me a minute to go change into some real clothes. So we made it in plenty of time, but that was fun. It was cute. I'm glad that we went, and my friend was super grateful that we supported. And then this past weekend, Friday and Saturday, was our Odyssey of the Mind State Tournament, which we have been working towards all year long. We had nearly 100 teams, and it was held at my high school here in town. I was very instrumental in bringing the tournament here to my town, my city, and So, and as a member of the board, at any rate, I was very busy in helping to set up. I got to the high school at like 3 on Friday. I didn't get home until 9 o'clock. On Saturday morning, I got up at 5 and got to the high school for 6. And then I got back home at 8 o'clock that night. And by the time I walked in the door Saturday night, I could barely walk. My feet and legs hurt so badly, and my ankle that I injured was really angry with me, although it was just the overall fatigue in my feet. It wasn't really the ankle that was the problem so much as the overall fatigue and stiffness in my body. But I walked about 16,000 steps on Friday, and I think I got like 19,000 steps on Saturday. It was like crazy. But it was so much fun, and I wanted to take pictures, and I got like one picture that I can throw here, and this is the cafeteria where a bunch of the teams were just kind of milling about and hanging about. I did get to go and see my middle school, the team from my middle school perform, and the team from the high school, which was a lot of my former middle schoolers, perform. So that was really great, and it was amazing. It was such a great weekend. Everything went really smoothly. Oh, but that's over. And then on Sunday, of course, we went to church, but we got home from church and I didn't move. I took like a 2-hour nap, and I made a grocery list and sent my husband to the store. And I think I ate dinner in my rocking chair. Like, I literally didn't move the whole day, which as it turned out was pretty good, because Monday when I got up and I got ready to head to work, I actually felt pretty energized. Although that said, when I got home on Monday, I crashed. I had intended to record the podcast on Monday, and I walked in my door, and then when I sat down, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And so it's kind of been all week. I've been trying to catch up on that energy of things, but I feel like I'm kind of starting to get there. Yesterday, we had our spring snowstorm. Fortunately, it didn't really start until after I got home from my workout. So it was great. I got home from school, went to my workout, I came out, it was just starting to snow. It was like spitting a little bit when I left, but it didn't really pick up in intensity until I got home. And it was beautiful though, I will say. When I got up this morning, the trees were just gorgeous. And then this morning, or today rather, after school or towards the end of the day, I had the last of the suicide prevention trainings that needed to occur at one of our schools. And so I went into that and came home, and we're getting ready to go to Bible study tonight. So that is what things look like from here. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please feel free to like this video and subscribe to the channel. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Knittin Michelle, KNITTINMICHELLE. You can send me an email at michellesfiberstudio@gmail.com. I will have links down below for all of the things that I've talked about in the show notes. With that, I hope you have a wonderful week and happy knitting.